when dreams and reality collide. A life is turned upside down. Thrust into a conflict where ancient shadows fight secret wars. For control of the future. Her allies hide in plain sight. But so do her enemies.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everybody to the stream, and welcome, Bang. Bandita, how you going, buddy?
Doing well. Hail and well met, everybody. How are we doing?
Absolutely. And Blue Samurai, you're here too.
Yes, hello. How are you doing today?
Hello. No hum. You were worried about a hum. There's no hum.
Right on.
Yes,
Ho,
victory.
hum. Everybody, welcome. Everybody's here. We see Downshift is in the chat. He was earlier, actually, so he might not be here again just yet. But Devilfish is definitely here, waiting for the highlight of his day. Well, thank you so much, Devilfish.
Cheers.
We love you here. You're our resident chat comedian. And yeah, everyone who's looking at the screen right now, yeah, do not adjust your television sets.
Whoa.
We're about to get to $20,000 on the lease.
Holy moly.
Did you believe it? The last tweet I sent out the other day was we're knocking on the door of 19K. Yeah.
Did you figure out what your stretch goal would be?
I had all the stuff on the kitchen table last night. We were measuring everything. I get so worried that we're gonna break it over. It would only be for people who have backed everything. Have got the full package that comes with the poster and the card and everything. You got postcards and things. But even then, it looks like we still actually have a good 30 grams to play around with. But that all comes down to whether or not the estimation that the Mixum have given me for the weight of the book is accurate. And I think it would be. I think it's actually a little bit over what it would be, because I measured Jawbreakers, which is about 10 pages longer, and it actually weighs less than what they estimated. So,
okay.
Hopefully, yeah, I think a print though. I think just another print. I really liked Bandito's idea of having, a series of prints, different characters. Antoine, quite foreboding. Is that the subject that you're talking about? The title of this stream? What do they say? A house divided cannot stand. Thankfully, Comicsgate is a village. Not the village people, as someone mentioned on a tweet, but yeah. Yeah, Devilfish, it's crazy. You know what happened? Obviously, it's this is ads from Hills v Babyface. I've gotten so many UK signups. It's just they're coming in thick and fast, and yeah, it's crazy. It's just craziness, and it's amazing. I'm just thanking people left and right. They're sending me messages too. They're sending me nice messages. I've gotten people saying this is the first book.
Nice messages, even. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, well, in nice messages are the good ones. This is the first book that they've backed in 20 years. Or that they've bought. The first graphic novel that they've bought in 20 years.
Wow.
So what do you say to that? That's like you're entering Zach territory there. Yeah. I remember saying the same thing to Zach. Yeah, I did say. I said a huge thank you. Actually, I said multiple thank yous. It's it is crazy. The missus is here. She's hailing everyone. No, she's saying hello.
Hello.
I got a hail.
No, she's hailing you. Yes. Ascension Cinema, man, it is nuts, isn't it? I got your thing, by the way. I haven't looked at it yet. Just haven't had time. Been so busy with work and all sorts of stuff. But we're going to get you back on, buddy, and we'll talk about the things that you've been doing.
He was
Terrible
great
how
great
work
guy
gets
and
in
a
the
great
way of our
guest.
lives.
Yeah.
Work does get in the way, doesn't it? What is up with that? Anton was referring to the new. That wasn't the new intro. That was the same intro. Is it more foreboding than normal? I don't know. That was the same old intro.
New message.
I don't know.
New meaning.
Anyway. Yeah, so just guys, thank you to everyone. If you kind of end up, I don't know if you're here, but if you know any of these people who've backed the campaign over the last couple of days, if you end up catching this stream or any of my streams, thank you for the bottom of my heart for taking a chance on little old me and the Lucent. I'm sure you won't be disappointed when you get the hands on the book. I just finished, that page I was showing you, the art. I was showing you the kind of the previous art and then the new art.
Mm-hmm.
I finished that page, so it's all updated because I wanted to see how it all looks on the page and everything, and now I'll be able to much more quickly transfer the look of what I've done across all of the pages. I think it's about 5 or 6 pages are in that color scheme, so that'll happen really quickly now.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and man, it's gonna look great. I'm just looking at it like what I had before to what I have now. It's really going to look good. Delta Spurg says divide the house. Well, I guess it depends on which house and why you're dividing it. The rug got peed on.
I said I was sorry.
Look who else is here.
Hail, Poland.
Hail.
Glad you made it.
Okay, I found it.
What
Wait,
is going on here? What have we got here?
Don't show yet. Okay.
No, I'm talking
Wait.
about Poland's
Okay,
gonna
good.
say,
avatar.
is Blue waiting on me?
No.
No,
The
I had
world
to.
is safe. It's okay.
I just have an innocent collage behind my avatar today of things that I think are relevant, and
Okay.
kind of a shrug happening while there's a building collapsing behind.
That's
Laura
Lara,
Bancroft today?
She's
Lara
shrugging.
Bancroft just
I didn't
shrugging,
look that high
saying,
up. I didn't
"What
look
is
at
going
her
on?"
Exactly.
shoulders.
It's like, I don't know what happened. The whole structure just came down.
Very apt. And what are you sharing, Blue? Should I share that?
Yeah, I'm ready now. It's you say we're a village. This is Comicsgate.
What was the
This
name
is
of that
what it
movie?
feels like. Yeah.
What was the name of that movie?
What were you
Village of
doing
the
at my
Damned.
house?
Something in the Corn.
No, Village of the Damned.
Oh, okay. I was thinking Children of the Corn. No, that's different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Was that-
different.
Yeah,
I don't know.
same
I can't
effect.
remember.
It's okay.
Okay.
Themes,
Alright.
who can understand them, right?
Yeah. So anyway, So thanks again. 380. We're in the countdown now, not only to 20,000 but to 400 backers. 400. This is definitely not anything I really ever planned for, but I'm super thankful, and it's going to be amazing. Now
Here
there's
we
so
go.
much wiggle room now when you have 400 backers. You can, you're not worried. Like, am I going to be dipping into my own savings account if the with the shipping or anything like that? It's all kosher. It's all good now.
But you can't afford to lose any.
No, I don't want to lose any. Why would I lose any, Bendy?
That is the question. Why would anybody want to lose fans or backers?
That is the question. So I think maybe what you're alluding to is I caught a money. Delta Spec, give me the money. No, the money's
It's not
going
your
into
turn.
I've got
It's
my
not your
bank
turn for
account.
the 100K, Delta.
I know. Yeah. It's my turn. Haven't you noticed? It's being siphoned around,
Delta
shuffled in
helped.
the right direction, and it'll be sitting in my special bank account that I've got set aside for all this money when it comes in. And then, unfortunately, I'm going to have to shuffle it off to the next poor soul in the pyramid scheme. But we won't talk about that.
It's kind of an upside down pyramid scheme because everybody's shrinking as you pass it around.
Blue, you actually sound really good today. Did you upgrade your hardware? What's going on there?
No, I upgraded my vocal cords.
Oh, okay. Oh, good.
Excellent.
No, I think
We've been
I'm
hearing
sitting
noises
upright.
down there in the basement.
I'm sitting upright. I'm closer to the microphone, and it's pointed like directly at my mouth, about 14 inches away.
Well, thank you for
Okay.
the specifics, the technical data.
I'm gonna get
I-
tired.
For the
I
kids out there,
upgraded from
that's
the I upgraded from the car, so there's that.
I quite liked the car. It was like a Zach vibe. I felt like I was Ethan and Zach was calling in, and you were like, you know, you'd sometimes be there and you wouldn't be. Oh, don't say that, Melanie. Don't make jokes like that. No.
Bancroft
This is not
canceled.
true.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the
is
screen
not
caps,
true.
they're going off right now.
Oh my goodness. Who's going to have a field day with that? The anti-CG are going to have a field day with that. Yes, no.
There you go.
Just jokes, baby. It's just jokes.
Just-
His only joke.
And yeah, so I was watching a Red Gaze video earlier, which I thought was really well said. I actually invited Red Gaze on. He's busy tonight, but he'll be coming on later this week, hopefully, just to talk about Sunswan, which I'm really looking forward to as well. But his video was basically, I mean, it was all about the you know, the kind of the divisions that we're seeing out there in Comicsgate, and you know, how it's affecting everyone's morale, and the kind of his thoughts on it. And I should have actually put it in the description. Maybe someone can. I found it was a really good video. I really found myself agreeing with him. You know, a lot of what's gone on recently it's just been a real downer. I used to be on Twitter a lot, you know, just scrolling through and having fun with everyone. It just felt like it was a really fun place to be. We were all making jokes with each other, and for the last couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks even, it's just, I've been kind of avoiding Twitter because it's just been non-stop. You know, people who you know, I'm friendly with yelling at each other. And it's you know, it puts everyone in a tough place because we all want to kind of stay friendly with the people that we've been friendly with, you know, this whole time. Some of us, you know, we've been fans of some people for 3 years going on. Sorry. And yeah, it's a real shame, but you know, I think the takeaway of the video was that he, and this is Red Gaze speaking, and I agree with it. You know, he has a platform, and on his platform, I mean, his number one commitment from his point of view is he's loyal to what he calls the gaze community. So that's the people who've backed him and the people who subscribe to him and follow him, and you know, he's not going to turn on them, you know, whoever individuals are in his community, just because of some group affiliation, or he's not going to. Yeah, maybe I'm just wording it really poorly here, but I just thought, like, go watch the video. You'll see what it's about, and we're going to talk a bit about similar things on this show today, because we've kind of avoided this, hoping it would just all sort of fizzle out. It hasn't fizzled out. My stand still remains the same, though. I'm not taking sides. I'm not going to let anyone, you know, pigeonhole me in any kind of side. I'm remain fans of a lot of the people on, you know, both sides of this divide, and hope to remain friendly as well with a lot of the people in it. And another thing I won't be doing is I won't be painting a whole you know, swathe of fans and creators and whatever with a broad brush, just because some people have been you know, doing some bad things. You know, some individuals have been doing some bad things out there on Twitter. So yeah, that's where I stand. How about you guys?
Really
No,
similar.
I'll get to it first.
And that, well, I think
I'm
it's
not
more than
prepared
just
for
a,
this. I didn't get any ice. I don't have
I always forget it's not. You have such a light room. It feels like there's sunlight on your face. I feel like I'm talking to you and it's afternoon, and then you just bring out the whiskey, and it's always a bit of a shock.
It's because the human sunbeam has turned away from me. I no longer live in his light, so I have to generate my own.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. Blue, you were going. Let's hear.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was waiting on you, Blue. Come on.
Well, if this is the state of Comicsgate, this is from the ultimate psycho chick film, Gone with the Wind. So if Miss Scarlet was in no way stable, you don't want to date her. So that looks like some people think that's the state of Comicsgate right now. But when it comes to there are two sides, I think there's a lot more than two sides. This is her saying tomorrow is another day. Seriously, do not date this
said that
woman.
as well. Red Gaze said that as well. There could be 2, 3, or more sides to this.
Yeah, and some of those sides are the people who say, you know what, I don't need to align with anybody. I can just sit back, watch, and enjoy the books I enjoy. So when it comes to, how do we say, agreeing with things that have gone on or disagreeing with them, I see faults in a lot of people, and I see a lot of, on I guess you'd say both sides, and a lot of poorly done management of how people speak for themselves. People are speaking for themselves, but they're saying things poorly, which I'm guilty of just now. And it's kind of like, I think people could have handled everything a lot better, but again, both sides of every issue that I've seen, it's just disappointing then when we get down to, hey, if I click like on a tweet, is somebody on the other side, a fan who agrees with the other side, going to, come at me because of that? It's a bit weird.
Yeah, that is definitely not something I ever want to be a part of. I don't want to be a part of anything where we're sitting around scared of liking tweets. I'm not saying if you like a tweet that says something really nasty, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just you like someone's tweet, just say they're sharing their book or whatever.
Yeah.
And you like it, and then someone looks at that, oh, you like this guy's tweet, this guy's persona non grata. That I'm not on board with at all. So, yeah, I think whatever we do, we need to make sure that Comicsgate doesn't descend into that, because that would be
one way to descend into that is if you like this guy's book, then I assume you think all these certain things about other people, and people run that thought process all the time. They don't even realize they're doing it.
Yeah, that's I think I've stated it multiple times on Twitter and dropped it a few times in the streams that the only thing we should be aligning with is the truth. And too much over the last few weeks, now it's like turning into months at this point, that's no longer the case. We're not calling balls and strikes fairly. It is, if I perceive you to be against me, I'm going to be as least charitable and as disingenuous as possible to defame you, so I don't actually have to enter into an actual discussion. I can just say that you are this terrible person, and I don't have to engage you. So it's done and over with. And you can't find reconciliation between 2 points of view if that's how you're discussing, because no one's being honest. And so it puts you in a difficult spot. Like we had yesterday's show, for instance, and there was some, like there shouldn't have even been a second thought about highlighting Doodle, but there has been some consideration. It's like, is this going to be perceived this way, or is it going to be looked at this way? That should never be the case in Comicsgate. We shouldn't be engaging in guilt by association or collective guilt or anything like that, or canceling people. Those are the things I can firmly stand against. In terms of people's personal squabbles, they need to handle those between themselves. But if I see something that is objectively false, I will call that out.
Yeah, it's something that, if we want Comicsgate to grow, and we do, we're not going to I missed a Delta Spur. You're right. I should have full screened the chair. What am I? I'm such a bad host.
Missed opportunities.
Yeah, if we want Comicsgate to grow, and I think we all do, all of us, on any side of any divide, we're going to. Oh God, that chair just God, why did I do that?
The chair ruins all train of thought.
My train of thought. where I was going with that. Sorry, Poland. I was probably agreeing with you in some fashion, and now I'm just all I can think of is chair.
We have to start
Well,
the stream over.
Damn it.
I'll take that moment to jump in then. I don't think any of that stuff matters. The truth, I mean, who's that going to serve now, and who's going to which side of it does someone want to be on? I mean, people are invested now. People have been hurt. People have, put their stakes in the ground. And I mean, the reality is, who doesn't want to be right? So at the end of the day, it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot of reason, like not as in a person reasoning through the situation, but it's going to take a significant reason for someone to pull back now. And I think what you need to identify is what that reason is. What's the reason that we want to make peace? What's the reason we want to build bridges? What's the reason we want Comicsgate to move forward in the most positive way possible? Our paths, Comicsgate and War Campaign, and then the rest of Comicsgate, our paths are going to run parallel. We're going to be sharing artists back and forth. We're going to be sharing work back and forth. We're going to be. I smell wonderful, and the reality is, if we do not find the reason to mend those fences, then it doesn't matter who's right. It doesn't matter what side of this battle you're on. So, if the truth is out there, if it's not. I mean, the thing is, too, nobody is right all the time, which means everybody is wrong some of the time. And
I definitely didn't make that contention.
Yeah. And
No, that's wrong.
Yeah, look, I remember my point, which was
Okay.
that if we want Comicsgate to grow, we have to understand that not only are individuals not going to necessarily like each other and get along with each other, but whole kind of friendship groups are not going to like and get along with each other. But so we just have to somehow figure out a way to live with that, deal with it, and also accept that there are those of us who aren't invested emotionally in everyone's individual battles with each other, So it's not fair, and it's not good, and doesn't help anyone.
I would take a step back. I think
Okay.
everybody is invested because this is our hobby. Like,
No,
if
I'm
we
invested in that. I'm not.
I know. Let me take a step back.
emotionally-
Let me take a step back so that I can show the reason investment is important. This being our hobby, this being, the platform that we want to all enjoy together, we all want to enjoy it. And we can't play this king of the hill battle. And a lot of us are always going to be trying to build bridges, mend fences, and others are going to be trying to be like, no, you can't be friends with this guy, you can't be friends with that guy. I mean, there's contention amongst a lot of people. But on one layer, with this being our hobby, on another layer, this is also our business. And for the fans, we want to have a healthy atmosphere. Comicsgate is the fans. We want it to be a healthy atmosphere. We want to be invested in making it a positive environment. We want to say this is important to us. And when someone else is saying, I'm super upset about this, I'm invested emotionally with that person, even if my emotions aren't making the choices for me. So I think we don't want to sit back and say, I'm not invested in this, so don't drag me into it. I'd rather say, I'm invested in this, but this is how I participate.
Okay.
I'm invested in this, and this is how I want to be able to interact with you or the other person, or
That's the thing that Gaze mentioned in his video, Red Gaze. If anyone, I think the link is up there in the chat somewhere. Where he said, you know, just like a fight between your friends, like two of your friends are really not at each other's throats. The one thing he's not going to do is pick a side and then start punching on against one of his friends. And so, yeah, even you're right. So say you might be emotionally invested. That doesn't mean I'm going to go into bat for one side or completely disown another side. You know, especially if we are friendly with each other. Wendy brought up a good question, which has sort of been what I'm asking. Can't we all just move on together but separately? That was my idea of the village. That, you know, in a village, you have families living in houses. They're all part of the same village, but they don't always have to act together. They don't have to even be friendly to each other. You know, they probably all share certain spaces together, like the, you know, the village square or the market or whatever. But you're right. If groups of people are just not getting along and have, you know, deep wounds that they can't overcome, which seems to be the case, I personally don't see a reason why we all can't move forward together but separately. But obviously others don't agree with me on that and feel like it has to be one way or the other. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know why that can't be done. Maybe someone has a good reason.
Well, like I said, people are dug in. They are emotionally invested. And so we can't say to them, stop being emotionally invested. We can't say to them, okay, you're in the wrong. You know, your point of view isn't right. We can't say, and it's not that we lack the ability to form the words, is that it doesn't matter how right we are. The words aren't going to have any value. They're not going to have any meaning. So that's why I say, like, none of that stuff matters. If we want to move forward and you want to,
it matters to me. That's why I brought it up. I'm someone that's involved in this community, so and I think it matters to a lot of people. Otherwise, there would not be a schism happening right now.
When I say it doesn't matter to people, or sorry, when I say it doesn't matter, I'm not saying it doesn't matter to people. What I'm saying is it's not going to produce the results that we're looking for. And I guess I don't mean to speak for everybody. What are the results we're looking for? Personally, I want to see War Campaign and Comicsgate still being able to inhabit the same space without trying to destroy each other. Failing that, I want to be able to see War Campaign and Comicsgate be able to travel in the same direction without trying to hurt each other.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So,
yeah, and that's part of what I was saying. There are certain principles.
But the truth isn't going to get, I don't believe the truth is going to get us there.
Why not?
Well,
because one side's truth,
getting a bit too philosophical here. I don't know. Like, how do you, like, if people on both sides are really deeply hurt of that particular divide. David Smith points out here, EVS betrayed War Campaign. What's War Campaign supposed to do? Okay, so that's his perspective on what's happened.
See, this is what I
like. We us four together got together before this and said we're not going to be talking about specific
lighting
people,
anybody up,
or we're definitely not. Yeah, that will not what we're going to do ever on this show. Is, you know, go after individuals and attack people, especially other creators in Comicsgate. But you know, how. And it's not really up to us, but I mean, how do we, you know, kind of go forward now when people on both sides do really feel very, you know, very hurt and betrayed? I don't have the answer to that, but you know, I just wanted to have this discussion because I know that for this channel, I would like to continue promoting people. You know, from quote unquote both sides of the aisle, and not have anyone feel that I'm betraying one side or the other. When all I'm doing is doing what I always did, which was follow the path that was laid out before me. Where you grab an oar and you build an audience and you make connections with people, and that's what I've been doing now for a year nearly, making connections with people, and now a lot of those people are in stark opposition to each other. It seems. I can't just unweave what has been woven. Nor would I want to. We had big success, I think, yesterday by having Doodle Bags on.
Oh, it was a great show. Yeah,
it was a really great show. He's a really cool guy,
and everyone was super positive. We didn't see anything negative. I mean, it was just a really good show on any account.
It was, and it got great response. Got lots of likes, very few dislikes. Got lots of views, and that's what I want. I want to be able to have a show like that where nothing bad comes of us supporting creators who individually, as far as I know, haven't done anything that would preclude them from taking part of this great thing that is Comicsgate. And I don't want them excluded from it just because of who their friends are.
Mm-hmm.
Or who hired them on a certain project. That's not anything that I
That's exactly why I'm saying we have to start dealing in honest terms and dealing in the truth, because the truth is that no one is as terrible as we want to make them out to be. It's just we want them to be that terrible in this moment because we had a disagreement. It makes
I can go with those truths. Absolutely.
And it makes it easier to demonize them because we had a pretty voracious disagreement. And that's what I'm talking about. We need to start dealing in the truth and in honest terms, because if we don't, then we're going to remain in this circular firing squad we've got going on right now constantly, where people are having to walk on the eggshells on Twitter, on their streams, what books they may like. And that's just not tenable. That's not something that's sustainable in any form. And that's a quick way of turning this into the next Gamergate.
The flip side of that is also, if you've screwed something up, own up. The need to apologize, and then there's another flip side to that. So this is a 3-sided coin. But anyway, if people have screwed something up, we should be adult enough to be able to own up to it, even in private. If there's something controversial, take it private, and be mature enough to say, you know what, give me some time to think, and then come back and say, I thought about it, and no, I didn't screw that up. Can you see it this way? Talk like adults, or hey, I apologize. I think on one hand, before I get to the third side of the coin, we're really afraid of the SJW reaction if we apologize for anything. That the people who are like us against SJWs are going to somehow take our apology and use it against us. We don't want to do that. And then I guess the third side of the coin would be we have to let people apologize. If I confront somebody in my personal life for some wrongdoing,
So I'm going to cut you off a little bit. Okay. I'm sorry, Blue. Specifically because there's nothing in what you just said that hasn't been said already. And if this information is stuff people already know, what's the reason it hasn't changed the tide? How come it hasn't made things go turn back the hostility that is out there?
Because my experience is people learn through repetition, and that means repeating errors and having to go and say, I screwed that up again, maybe lesser this time, before they start to recognize, hey, the thing I screw up consistently is coming at me now, and I get to make a choice this time. Or
could it be that the life lessons that you're speaking about, the being a man, owning up, being an adult, owning up to your mistakes, privately going and ensuring that peace can be made, those things, maybe that's not enough of a reason. There isn't enough in that. There isn't anything to benefit on either side in doing those things.
I don't know about that, but what I was going to say is if somebody's wronged me and I'm confronting them, I have to let them think about it sometimes
Mhm.
and let them be themselves. Or if they, ooh, we should have him on to sing that later. If they aren't going to apologize, then I may have to just drop it. And that's the third side of the coin, is I don't rule over somebody else anymore.
Guys, I wanted to interject real quick. We have a lot of stuff, a lot of people saying stuff in the chat. Let's try and rope them in here since we're about halfway through. Antoine and
You can't tell the chat what to do.
Yeah, he means you mean bring him into the discussion, yeah?
right. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
'Cause- yeah,
so
because they-
Antoine says, all anyone can do is conduct themselves in a manner that reflects their ideals. If someone says something you don't like, there's no fixing other people. I agree with that sentiment, Antoine. I always agree with every.
Yeah.
You may be the
So
one
then-
person, Antoine, that I've ever found who I seem to agree with everything.
Okay, so now the response to that is, how do you work around people that you have deemed require fixing in order to be around them? Because we're not getting away from Comicsgate. War campaign's not leaving, they're not going anywhere. We are stuck in this house while it's burning. So, if you believe the other side requires fixing, how do you stand being in the room with them when nobody's grabbing a bucket of water to put out the fire?
I don't even think of it in terms of, maybe fixing is the wrong word. I don't know.
No, I think fixing is actually the right word, because the problem. Oh, I'm sorry, Antoine.
Oh, you go on.
No, Antoine says that I misinterpreted his statement.
Listen, you've got it all wrong.
I know.
Wrong.
So let me actually expand on that then a little bit, because I don't believe I got it wrong.
Says, we get over it and we move on.
Yeah.
Like
Yes,
I
Wendy.
wish that would just happen. That we would just kind of do that.
I 100% agree with Wendy.
David Smith had another one directed at you, Michael.
What's
Yeah,
that,
I saw that.
It is right
Where's
below
that?
Antoine's.
Oh, from back up there, or his new
Right.
one?
Yeah, I can read it to you.
Is that this one?
It was David Smith at you.
Oh, sorry. God, I've hit a completely different one. I'm an idiot.
The
Yeah,
chat's
Rowan
flying.
Penn-
So
is that this one?
Yep, that was it.
Rowan, Penn, and Cecil went to John and privately went when the cover issue first happened to squash this, and John and Cecil never responded. John and Cecil wanted to drive war campaign. Okay, so
here's the thing. I don't think we need to bring out certain topics that we can't actually prove yes or no. We know that's the narrative. We don't really have we don't have all the receipts for it. We know their behavior. We know how they acted back and forth between each other. If we start saying
We know different people's attitudes.
we know so and so did this and so did that. We can't go back in time and say this should have happened differently, right? If we do that, we can't get over it. We're always going to be harping on that. We're always going to be dragging that up and saying, "Do you remember when?" And so I don't know. If you have something more to add on to that, I don't want to stop anybody else, but I feel like if we're dragging people out and we're saying this isn't the right way or this is the wrong way, we're
Mo has a path forward. He says my praise of Anton is a prime example of a backhanded passive aggressive swipe at him, and that's the key.
be the bigger man, Mo.
Aggressive. That's how peace is kept.
You got to be the bigger man, Mo.
Yeah, Wendy. Yeah, look, I'm agreeing with you too. Another thing. Here's another policy of mine. I'm not here online to tell other grown men and women how to act online. If I see something that I don't agree with, I will just disassociate myself from that person. If I see someone out there posting things that I can't get behind, I'll just take a step backwards. I don't feel as though it's my place as an adult to talk to another adult about what they should be doing. But that's just me personally. Obviously, other people have acted differently, and that's where maybe a lot of tensions are coming from.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, go on.
That goes to what Bandito was saying earlier about what do you do when you can't interact with the person across the room. and
But
then
you're stuck with them.
yeah, or you're stuck with them in some way. Well, if it's a business relationship, you live out that business relationship until to finish out your contract. We'll just call it a contract. But after that, you don't want to work with them again. But if it's not a business relationship and they aren't harming you in a business way, you see them across the room, and there are ways in which you say, I can't engage with that person. But you don't have to broadcast that to the world just because you had the thought in your head. We don't have to go on Twitter and say, I saw this person, they're a poopy head, and so I'm not going to do anything with them. No, you can be quiet and live your life just perfectly content.
That goes back to a point that someone made up here. Sorry, I missed it. That most of this, if not all of it, would have all been squashed if we'd not decide to argue. Well, not us personally, but people in Comicsgate decide to argue with each other on Twitter, where everyone is just going to interpret things in the least charitable way possible. That's just how Twitter works. And I know Liam tried to do his YouTube show and attempt to kind of bring the arguments off Twitter onto YouTube, and some people think that was successful, and some people think it wasn't, and it wasn't a way, and it wasn't in other ways. It just kind of fanned the flames in other ways, and then helped in other ways. But sometimes the best of intentions don't always work out how we want them to. Like I said, this isn't about solving this issue, because I didn't think any of us here have any kind of power to solve it. But just more of the lines of
Bonsai does.
Does
Bonsai
he?
Toe Jammer. Yeah, he has the
Oh.
power to solve this.
You've missed all the points. There is only one point. Mine. Obey me, peasants. Do as I please.
This is the wisdom I needed. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, this is the
I
answer
think-
to all the riddles.
I think, Michael, to your point earlier about telling people what to do and moving forward, I think what's important is that we don't cancel each other. So if there's a disagreement, just simply disassociate, which I think is kind of what you were getting at with the title of the video, or the title of the stream, really, is you can, disassociate, go into your separate corners. We're all pushing the same direction, in the same cultural direction. We're still pushing in that direction, but we're not, interacting directly with each other, but we're still kind of in the same environment. And I think that if there's any simple way, that would be the simplest. Just stop the Twitter nonsense, push your books and move forward from there, and just simply go into your separate corners.
Well,
Yeah, I think
I'll restate again. There's the things that we want to do, but then there's the things that we can do. I don't think we're going to get to a point where people say this is the truth and this is the reason that we need to cohabitate. I think that if we don't have a reason, if we don't have a valid enough position that everybody can agree on, then I don't think that there is moving forward without the hostility.
Delta, the hashtag is blame Bancroft, and that was started on Liam's show. We won't be blaming Liam for anything, and the hashtag is and remains blame Bancroft.
Wait a minute, I'm an adult. You can't tell me not to blame Liam.
I mean,
Anyway.
Yeah, look, I don't know. The way
think
I'm
it's-
envisioning it is sort of like a village from Viking times or whatever. When we're under attack, the village will band together despite their differences, and against the greater enemy. But when we're not under attack, the different houses will start to go to war with each other. So that's kind of the way I'm picturing it. I don't know, if the truth will set us free. I don't know about any of that. I just know that I think it is possible. I think I'm proof that it is possible that you can
Well, we'll see after this. We'll see after the stream.
I don't think we're pissing anyone off here. You can walk the path. If you don't sort of involve yourself in non-stop Twitter flame wars with others, you can kind of. What am I trying to say here? I don't want to say it's just all positivity all the time. Obviously, we can't just turn a blind eye and pretend like that if you go onto Twitter right now, onto Comicsgate Twitter, it's just going to be a great old time like it was
A
a
month
few
ago.
months ago. Yeah. But at the same time, I've been out there promoting. When I say promoting, on the show, and also retweeting and interacting with people on, who currently seem to really dislike each other. And I'm not being cancelled, and I'm not getting in any arguments with anyone. Antoine has left. I hope you still hear this, buddy. Thanks so much for dropping by. Always great to see you here, and I hope to see you tomorrow.
Hey, Blue, could you check the private chat real quick?
Check the what? I'm sorry.
Joe Boss, let's get. Look, I don't know. Twitter, it's just such a strange thing. It's like having a pit bull. It's really, it's fine if you know how to handle it, and you're not poking it in the eye. But the moment you start poking it in the eye and tugging on its balls, it will go after you viciously, and it won't stop. So, it's a difficult thing, isn't it? I get to see more and more why people have just sort of absolutely bailed on it.
I like Wendy's comment here. I would appreciate it if the creators would stay out of it. I wish the division was that simple. I really don't like the idea of creators and fans being a separate category, because we're all fans of someone else's work, and creators tend to have a foot in both worlds. And those worlds really are kind of one and the same. If you're not a fan of your own project, then why are you making it? So the reason that came about was because John needed a talking point that he could win on. John brought up, and it's a part of my mental furniture, which is why I always say it as well. But there was this reason that he had for talking to Ro and Pan, and a reason for trying to separate War Campaign. And that's not me trying to drag him. I just understand that that's where he was trying to figure out how he was trying to deal with it, right? I disagree with that separation. And I think that there's more smarter people who aren't creators that can comment on this stuff than people who are creators. And so if you can interact with the fans and talk about these things, you're limiting how we can fix this problem. So anyway, I really like the comment, simply because I just wish everybody could take a step back, right?
Yeah,
Whether
well,
it's the creators
we
or
were
the
talking
fans.
earlier that we suspect that the majority of Comicsgate, and when we say Comicsgate, we're talking about the fans.
Yeah, whether it's War Campaign or Comicsgate or whatever designation.
Whoever. The people who've been here this whole time, the people who are coming in now, the fans of good, agenda-free comics, who like creators to treat them with respect and respect characters and story and all that good stuff. It's always been Comicsgate. I think the majority of them agree with us that we should all just do our best to get back to fun, and get back to what we had. It's it isn't dead. That's why I'm saying, like, it's not a house has toppled over and it can't go down. Who was saying? I think it was Liam saying the other day. Comicsgate has become so broad now.
Oh yeah.
It's there's there are so many places and little groups and things, and they're all unique and cool. There's UK CG. There's all kinds of different shows. There's what Raging Golden Eagle is doing over with his he's got a big manga crowd, and there is still so much positivity, and I think most fans who and that's what Comicsgate is the fans would would agree that we don't need to just continuously be moving forward with sniping at each other, and also that they would like it if a show like mine, for example, or any other new show that's coming up, can have on creators who aren't liking each other very much at the moment and may never again. And that's okay. It's okay. I would love to have Gat come on this show and talk about Vestige with him. And I would love to have anyone else who's in stark disagreement with War Campaign at the moment come on and talk about their book. That's the kind of show that I want.
I know.
Sorry,
yeah,
Paul.
absolutely. I was going to say, I know Bandito likes analogies, so I'm going to throw one out here.
Yes, give me one.
So the way that it's been right now is that, it seems like people are trying to sabotage each other for whatever reason they might have when it comes to certain projects. And I think what needs to happen moving forward is that the destination needs to be the same, except we're running on two separate railroad tracks. Those railroad tracks are parallel to each other, so they're moving the same way, but they're never going to intersect and those trains are going to collide. They need to be separate, but they're still moving in the same direction, pushing that same cultural message, which is, I think, something we all agree on, and that is there needs to be good entertainment that's apolitical and all these other things in terms of the broader cultural war, if you want to use that analogy, that we're kind of contributing to here. So two separate tracks.
So,
I
but
sent
what's
out a tweet the other day. Sorry, Benjamin. I sent out a tweet the other day about how the SJWs have taken over everything, and in the States especially, you could be seeing a situation where they're taking over politics. This is dire times for those of us who reject the idea of all of art and life and entertainment is supposed to be partisan, radical political propaganda. They have taken over every branch of entertainment available to us. And it's a dire situation, and it's not getting any better. They are in the process of quintupling down now at this point. We've gone past the doubling and the tripling and the quadrupling. If you've seen what's happening at DC now with Wonder Woman, all the different shows, the different movies, what's going to happen to the MCU. Now, I'm not saying Comicsgate is here to destroy them. We already had that fight. We realized that they're in control and they're not relinquishing it. But what we can do, and what we have done, and what we can continue to do, as long as we keep our eye on the real prize, is we can put out alternatives, products to what they're putting out. We can put out good stories with real stories that how they used to be made, that actually appeal to people and sell. We can do that in Comicsgate. Other people can do that with games. We've got Planet Tobor here. He's made an awesome game. Look, we can't compete with their multi-million-dollar campaigns and budgets and teams and everything, but what we can do is something that they can't do, which is put out agenda-free entertainment. And I think you're exactly right, Poland. As long as we keep doing that, that is our path to whatever our destination is, on whatever those, that's where the train tracks are heading. And as long as we keep our eyes on that instead of looking sideways at each other because we have beef with each other, we can go forward. We
so
can
right. We just
win in our own way.
We just have to keep putting out. Gotcha. There were some comments here.
You can keep putting out.
There were some.
What kind of show are you trying to make here?
One full of puns, I hope. There are 3 comments I wanted to point out, but we don't have to scroll to them. First, with what I was saying earlier, Ryan Miller Art says that I have described his parents' marriage. I am so sorry, man, because that is not how marriages work. That's how this we're not married kind of business work together thing should be, ugh. Anyway, I hope that's a joke because I think it was. And then Delta Spurgforce has commented that I am a poopy head, so I guess that's out there. I can't hide it anymore. And then who is she? Wendy B has said, I've been most upset by being treated like crap by some creators whom she has supported, but she's willing to move on. And that's wrong. That's where we're definitely causing factions if as creators, which I am not yet, but if as creators we are mistreating the fans, then we're no better than the thing that sparked the start of this. And so Wendy, I'm sorry you've dealt with whatever that was that you've dealt with, but she's got a point there. Is she's going to move on, and we're not going to be going anywhere, putting anything out on any rails if we turn our fans away by interacting with them directly and mistreating them.
So this is actually what I was getting at. We need to have a reason to want to be on those tracks, and we have to have a reason to stay on the tracks. And I mean, as a creator, the only thing I can think of is the fans have to come first. And I personally believe Comicsgate is specifically a fan-based movement. When I'm acting as a fan, I'm definitely Comicsgate. But when I'm acting as a creator, I'm a business. You know, if I can sell to anybody that's out there, Comicsgate, non-Comicsgate, you know, if I can get a business deal that will pay off millions of dollars, I'm going to take those deals, right? Because it's a business and I want it to be profitable and I want to be able to go the furthest I can with it. But not at the expense of the fans. And if my reasoning, if my ambition can continue to be centered around the fans, I know for myself, that's what's going to keep me in check. That's what's going to make it so that I don't take my characters and suddenly change them in order to try and bring in a new audience. I know that that's what's going to make it so that the thing I love, if I live with it for too long, I just don't sell it off or something. Specifically, it's, you know, how I interact with the fans. And if reason enough, even the fans that hate me, even the fans that put my avatar on a Tiger King cartoon where he's stuffing one of his tigers, even that guy should be someone I can interact with positively. That's a real thing that actually did happen. Yana Fui decided to take a poke at me, or make me take a poke at a tiger, one of those things. And the thing is, if we can focus on ensuring that our fan interaction is always positive, even when the fans are being negative, we will stay on the tracks, right? We will be the ones that are continuing to push the boulder forward. You know, that's what I say about War Campaign. Like, these guys, say whatever you want about them. They know how to take a punch. And they'll get back up, and the boulder will still be moving forward. They are continuously pushing the boulder forward. And if you can't respect that, then, I mean, you're watching, I don't know where you're coming from. But the reality is, if we want to be a positive influence in Comicsgate, we have to be a positive with the fans. Like, that's the bedrock. That's where it comes from. And if we can't get our head around that reason, maybe we shouldn't be putting out books. So I think that reason is bigger. I think that reason is bigger than wanting to be right. So that's why I think being right doesn't matter. Everyone's going to have their truth, and I don't want to take away someone's truth. I don't want it to be where I say to someone on the opposite side of me, and I say, you know what, your truth sucks. Because, you know what, however they're internalizing that, that's what I'm attacking. I'm not attacking the truth, I'm attacking them. So
I definitely will get behind a message of it has to all be about the fans. That's sort of, you know, where I've come into it, and that's where I will stay. And look, you know, people will take that and say, yeah, but this guy did this one time, and this guy did that this other time, and yeah, look, we're not all perfect creatures. We all make mistakes, and hopefully, you know, we can all forgive, you know, each other's mistakes when they're made.
Eventually, at some point in time, we're going to need forgiveness as well. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, you got to think that as well.
So, I mean, there comes a time when there's that give and take. If we can't give it out, we don't deserve it either. And I saw in the comment, Holy Goat, I understand there's not competing truths. It's true. There is one truth. But There isn't anybody who has ownership of just one truth. And none of us, as I said it before, maybe you weren't here for it. None of us are right all the time, which means all of us are wrong some of the time. And both sides have done things that have been hurtful to the other side. Oh shit. If Ryan forgives everyone, that means we're all in the wrong. So, but all I'm saying is, if we don't have a big enough reason to move past this, then I mean, we will eternally suffer. It'll only be an ongoing thing. War Campaign's not going anywhere. Comicsgate is not going anywhere. And War Campaign is Comicsgate. I mean, there's still War Campaign's still going to be backing all the books, all the creators that everybody loves. So,
Mo Biggs just knocking it out of the park. That's why I always compare CG to proper ventilation. It doesn't work without the fans. Absolutely. Hail Mo Biggs. That's just bang on the truth there. And we are at the hour. So, guys, I hope you are okay with us talking a little bit about the drama on this channel. I know we've tried to kind of step around it, but just going forward, just as a matter of operation. I want everyone here to know that we will continue to promote and discuss and be friends with, if possible, anyone out there putting out a book who's being respectful to fans as far as we're aware, and they're putting out a good book. Obviously, that's sort of another criteria as well.
Speaking of promote, can we just name a couple?
You can, yeah, if you've got a couple lined up. Be quick because I've got to get back to work.
Ultimate Crusaders, we had him on Friday night in the first hour of the marathon Friday night, and then the Lucent, of course, and now I can't think of who else. So that's it. Check out Ultimate Crusaders, please.
Vestige 2, yep, we promoted that yesterday, and we will be getting on Mike Murphy at some point. He's been talking about his book.
Nice.
380 backers on the Lucent. Believe it or not, I still can't believe it. Logical Gamer says Captain Love. I love that song.
Yeah, Captain Love is a creator. Yeah. And there's also Red Eyes was another book that we just... Yeah.
There's so many, and I would love to be able to promote them all the time, but it's just not possible. Tatsunami's here. Hello, Tatsunami. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Hail to War Campaign, the motherfucking brethren. I'm glad that a bunch of you guys showed up. Hail Comicsgate. I genuinely hope that we're moving forward in a positive direction. And hey, all we can do is be our best selves.
Testify wants to yell at you, Bandito.
Yeah, I can hear him. He's yelling from wherever he is, and I can hear him. So,
all right, guys. Thank you so much. Thanks to everyone having this conversation. Thanks to Hal to the chat, everyone for coming. We've had a nice and good chat here today, and I've read all of your comments, even if I haven't been able to bring them out at every single time. It's just that's what happens, I guess, when you get more people, which is a good thing to see.
Exactly.
So. Yeah, if anyone here who's new and you haven't backed the Lucent, go and check it out, please. It's on the cusp of $20,000 US, which is just insane to me. And we're closing in on 400 backers as well. And I promise I will get up the new stretch goal ASAP. It might not be for 20,000 though, because I think we're almost going to hit that pretty soon. Maybe
Michael Bonsai wants a hail.
But what? Bonsai Toe Jam.
I don't think we have time. I don't think we have time for it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm getting coerced there. I haven't figured out where you're coming from yet. So we'll see you next time, Bonsai, and we'll figure you out then. All right. Okay. See you guys.
Godspeed.
Bye.
I can take my face off.